Up next, we have a special event for you that takes place in California. It's the Mammoth Mountain out there. It's a beautiful area. This would be the 5th annual Mammoth Biathlon. And Molly Smith is going to be our co-host out there. This is a very challenging event. We go out there every year, and we're glad to bring it to you.
Hi, I'm Molly Smith, and I'm going to be your host today. Welcome to beautiful Mammoth Mountain, California. I've been shooting since I was 11 years old. I shoot for Team Smith & Wesson, and my favorite revolver is the 686. This weekend, we're at Mammoth Mountain to cover the biathlon event. This is the world's largest and the 5th annual in the northwestern region. How cool is that? I'm going to take this time to show you what this is all about. Are going to go all the way around the course, and then once they're done with the course, they're going to the range, where they shoot 5 steel targets. But here's the catch. For every miss, they have a penalty lap, and that means they go around the smaller circle. So if they miss 3 shots, they take 3 laps. Once they finish those laps, they can go up the hill and finish the race. So whoever comes in first from there, with the penalty laps, wins. I'm here with Maggie Palchuk, the Paralympic sport coordinator, and she's going to tell me a little bit about what she does. Now, what is the Paralympics?
The Paralympics are a parallel set of Olympic Games. They follow the Olympics that everybody's familiar with, and they're designed for elite level international competition for athletes with physical or visual disabilities.
I'm inspired. It's the first time I ever shot with a live ammo. I've shot pellet guns and things like that before, but not live ammo, and I really liked it. The 22s are super fun. Yeah. So I think I'm going to get myself one.
That's great. Yeah. I myself am a shooter. That's how I got.
Oh, that's how you got here.
But I shoot revolvers, so it's not really 22 or
handgun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm one of those people.
I've shot handguns, but never a rifle. And it was great because they showed me how I could rest on my knee and be able to do it. And that was really nice. Stable. It was real stable and stuff. Now I just have to get steady.
Welcome back to Mammoth Mountain, California. I'm with Brock Biggie right now.
I think I did fairly well. Had a couple spills, but I've been doing that every day, having a few spills. I shot 8 out of 10, missed a couple. But,
Now, can you tell me a little bit about Afghanistan and how you got injured?
Yes, I was over in Afghanistan on my 3rd tour, and I was training the Afghan National Police. We lived with them, trained them, and went on patrol with them, and I ended up getting hurt in June. The enemy detonated an explosive device, and it ripped up my legs, and they had to rebuild my left leg because it shattered my tibia and my fibia. They had to move some muscle around and do a skin graft and put in a plate. So that's how I got on this with the Wounded Warriors down in Camp Pendleton, California. I just want to thank Disabled Sports Eastern Sierra and Mammoth Mountain for all the exciting times and enjoyment I got out of this. So thank you.
What do you think is the most rewarding part of all of this for you?
Oh, it's definitely meeting the athletes and their families, introducing them to things that they didn't believe was possible, and just seeing the tears of joy as they get out and compete with their able-bodied and recreate with their able-bodied friends.
And watching them do something that they thought they couldn't do, because they saw this course the other day for the first time, and they were like, it's really hard. I don't know if I can make it up the hill and stuff. And they all made it up the hill twice, which is that big hill. They made it up twice. And to see that, I mean, when Donnie came in, the last person, I started to cry, because I was like, yes, because I know how it feels, that sense of accomplishment. It was just like, it was the best.
You did that with the chair busted.
Making your way to the start line.
Good job, Donnie.
You know, with Eastern Sierra, I'm just really impressed with their organization, with Kathy Copeland and Maggie and their organization. It's just they're volunteers. They are just an amazing group of people. And my job now is to travel the country and help in events like this with disabled organizations. And I would say that Eastern Sierra is probably one of definitely the top shelf of what I've experienced so far. So my heart goes with them, and they're a great group of people.
You know, all of that is really what this is about, you know, encouraging everybody else to get out there and do it. You know, just do your best.
So you plan on doing this for a long time, I imagine.
Absolutely, yeah, to the end of the days.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
That is fantastic to see so many juniors out there having a great time.
Some flat, get a little downhill, perfect range spot, nice little behind us.
How did you do?
I don't know. My friend said I got second.
Wow, congratulations if that's the case. That's incredible. So you had a good race? You feel pretty confident?
Yeah. It was really fun.
10 minutes
That's
away from
excellent.
wave 3.
What was your best part or your favorite part about it?
I think my favorite part was probably hearing all my friends cheering for me and them being so nice and going against them. That was really fun.
Oh, that's so great. And what was the most difficult part for you?
The difficult part was probably the hills and the penalty laps.
Well, how many penalty laps did you have to do?
4, I think, and that's it.
So you only missed 4? That's
Yeah.
great. Congratulations on that, too. I'm here with Mike Karch, and he is the match director for the biathlon this year. What do you think was the highlight of the match today?
I think today the highlight for me was the little kids. My daughter is competing today. She competed and won her division, and that was certainly a highlight for me. Also watching the disabled athletes as well come through, so I think that was just fantastic watching them shoot and ski.
Honestly, I have to say, Mike Karch, the race director, has just been he's been giving us big teddy bear hugs because he wants to be so inclusive and embracive, and we really appreciate that because a lot of people are afraid of disability, and he's just like, no, bring it on, you know.
There's a change of venue and a change of courses. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Traditional biathlon was set up in the sense that we shot and then we skied out maybe 3 or 4 kilometers out of the range of the spectators. I've always thought that the problem with attracting spectators in the U.S. is that the race should be shorter, tighter, more technical, and more within the spectator's view. So what I tried to do this year was develop a course that was all within the spectator's view. It has a lot of tight turns, it's got a lot of uphills, downhills, It's very technical, but it's very viewable the whole way. So I think that's the major advantage this year.
Are you making the course like a World Cup class course?
You know, I've tried to. There are certain specifications in a World Cup course, A hills, B hills, that have a certain amount of elevation per unit distance. And I've tried to throw those into the course. What's not part of a World Cup course is the elevation change. And so we are way above the elevation cap. So that even throws another technical challenge in for the athletes.
Were there any major difficulties that you had this year so far?
You know, compared to last year, we had almost 10 feet of snow in the week before the biathlon. So we had some major logistical difficulties in terms of setting up the range and getting the athletes to the range. This year, knock on wood, it's been all clear. So
that's great. Are there anything that from last year that you worked to correct for this year?
We've improved some logistics in terms of timing. We have a professional timing service this year. We also have a professional announcer as well, and I think we organized the waves a little bit better and seeded them a little better so it's more competitive within the wave.
You never know how your life may change, when it may change, and how drastically it changes. And it's that sort of thing that you can't really predict and you can't really prepare for. But when it comes, you always have to look for the best in it. And you have to go past those barriers and become someone better than you were before. And I think that's really important and a good lesson to learn for anyone, especially these competitors.
Nice. Nice work.
Speaking of challenges, tomorrow there's going to be a whole new set of challenges on the table. There's going to be snow, rain, and wind, possibly. So this is going to open a whole new lot of barriers for all the competitors. But on the bright side, we get to see some of the top-notch shooters out there, the Masters, the National Guard, and possibly some Olympians. So this is really going to be great. We'll be right back. And the first thing I'm going to go do is get a lesson from Andy Lear, the range master here at the biathlon, on some of the shooting. It's going to be 50 yards of shooting little tiny targets out there, and I'm going to see how I can do. I'm here with Andy Lear, the range master for the biathlon. What got you involved in wanting to be a range master here?
Well, obviously in law enforcement, there's a lot of involvement in firearms, and I've always, I grew up in the Eastern Sierras, and I've always done a lot of hunting. Becoming a range master involved going to a lot of shooting schools, which was kind of fun to get paid to go to schools, and I've improved my shooting, and now I'm able to share my knowledge with other people and teach them how to shoot. With a revolver, you're aware that the sighting system the sighting system, you have a front post and two rear posts. You make it level and you split the target in half, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is different. You look through the sights and you have a rear sight. In the rear sight, you're looking through the aperture and you see the front sight. And what you want is an equal amount of light around the front sight post, okay? And then inside the front sight post
during their round, they're seeing
is what's going to be the equivalent of your post.
Okay.
You want an equal amount of light around between the sight post and your target. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that takes care of your sighting. Anytime when you're shooting, like when these biathlons, when you ski up, obviously your heart rate's going to be elevated. You need to try to control your breathing, right? So how can you control your breathing?
Holding your breath.
Well, slowing your breathing down will bring your heart rate down and get it under control. When I shoot, I like to get 3 or 4 breaths in. Figure out, are you going to shoot left to right or right to left?
Okay. I'm probably going to shoot left to right.
Okay. And so when you do that, you want to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and then find a comfortable spot on that second breath to hold your breath.
Okay.
And then shoot. You don't want to hold your breath forever because, you know, when your heart rate's at, 160, 170, which it would be after a race like this, you're going to, it's going to be like 3 seconds is an eternity.
Okay.
So, you haven't been breathing too hard now, so you need to practice. So you want to get thrown out. Start out. You're going to want to get your arms straight underneath you. Get your hands straight like a platform like this.
Okay.
You're gonna bring, just like with a revolver, how you're gonna pull and push, but you're not gonna have any push. You're just gonna have a little bit of pull. And you're gonna pull the rifle into you. You're gonna get that equal amount of light around all the little parts. Hold your breath, and then slowly squeeze the trigger back. That's one of the most important things. People like to, they want to rush it and they pull that trigger, and what happens is it pulls the rifle up like this and causes a miss. So you want to make sure you evenly squeeze the trigger back so it's a surprise crack. All right? So about 2 or 3 pounds of pressure back into your shoulder. Hold it level, and you bring this arm underneath here a little bit like this.
Well, that was awesome. I love being able to shoot like that, and it was great to hear how the shooters have to really hone down their heart rate and be able to relax while they're shooting. That's really difficult to do when you're just skiing right in there, and then you have to slow down and everything changes. It's a lot of contrast.
Well, I think the difference between the biathlon and regular shooting is your regular shooting, you're worried about your front sight and your trigger squeeze, where this, you have to get your breathing and heart rate under control first, and then everything else. Getting your sighting, you get your sight picture, your trigger squeeze, and your heart rate's still affecting all of that, and you have to be in exceptionally good condition to be able to shoot in the biathlon.
Yeah, so you would consider this one of the most difficult disciplines of shooting?
Yes.
That's my shooting. When I'm running and shooting targets with my revolver, I have to be paying attention to my breathing and heart rate as well, because if I'm panting and all out of breath by the time I'm up to one of my targets, I'm not going to be able to get a good shot on it.
Right. Well, in this sport, you have to be a good shot to begin with. You have to learn, you have to learn the fundamentals of shooting to begin with, and then the whole skiing and the heart rate and getting your heart and getting your breathing controlled is going to be very important. So it just adds to shooting. Once again, the weather plays an element in this too, because as it gets cold, your blood starts going to your core, and it makes it more difficult to think, and just your body's survivability. So I mean, there's a lot of different aspects in this whole thing.
Athletes, you're going to hear a 10 countdown, and you are to go on the word go. So everybody join in on this countdown. We're starting at 10 right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! We are live. The Ford Mammoth coming into the finish line, and Mark Johnson, a close second, made up so much time. Good push all the way to the finish. About 10 seconds behind them. That was a tight race. Think about it. All right. Keep your hands together, folks. That's some serious skiing right there. Yeah. 10 seconds, Chris. Can you imagine that one shot?
Hi, I'm Riley Gessling at the Mammoth Winter Biathlon.
Well, he just won first place. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
How long have you been shooting?
I've been shooting biathlon for about 7 years now. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota. I'm 20 years old. This is my last year on the junior national team, and I'm excited to be out here in California.
What sort of practice have you done to get ready for this?
Well, in the beginning of the year, we do a lot of precision shooting, so our training is really similar to competitive shooters, shooting a lot of paper, doing a lot of automation drills, practicing getting the rifle off your back, loading clips, getting out of position, and then as the winter goes on, we do more combination shooting with skiing, and then once we hit the race season, we're doing almost all racing. We keep up a pretty rigid dry fire program throughout the year, so about 20 minutes a day focusing on fundamentals just to stay in touch with the shooting side of the sport.
You know, and fundamentals like that in dry fire are really common with most shooting sports. It's a great way to basically stay in shape with all of your different disciplines, no matter what you're doing. Rifle, skiing,
yep.
Doing all of this, biathlon. So what was the highlight of the race for you? Aside from winning,
I just really enjoy the atmosphere here. The whole community is really supportive. Everyone's really enthusiastic. And you get to, it's a lot more laid-back atmosphere, and you just kind of get to enjoy the sport with your teammates.
That's wonderful. Was there any particularly challenging part for you?
Well, the altitude's really challenging. You have to change your breathing cadence. So at sea level, I usually take about one breath in between shots. Here I have to take 2 or 3 just because I'm breathing so much harder when I come in.
So where are you going to be in 2 years, do you think?
2 years, hopefully I'll be in Sochi.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us this week. I've had a fantastic time here at the biathlon. I've learned so much and seen so many determined people participate in this. It's a little bit hard to think, it's a little bit hard to talk, and I can only imagine how hard it is for some people to be able to shoot and ski and do phenomenal at it. This has been a fantastic experience and totally different than what I'm used to. This is not revolver shooting. This is way cooler in some aspects.
Shooters, I hope you enjoyed that show. I know I did. I'm not much of a skier, I will admit. But Molly Smith went out there. She did a wonderful job with the crew. That's a great, challenging event for shooters and skiers. We saw a lot of people out there who may well be in the winner's circle come the Olympic time. See you again next week. I'll bring you a new show.